Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be doing a little review on this acrylic brand called Krylx, and these are the colors that I got. Also, I got a 500 piece nail form roll. And yeah, let's get into the swatches. So the colors are really beautiful, and I'll be doing more sets with this range of colors that I got. Also more swatches over on my Instagram. I'll leave that in the description or somewhere on the screen, where you can go and follow me to see more sets. In today's video, I will also be showing you the pop-off method that I kind of tweaked in a way to fit my nails, because the ones that I tried before never worked for me. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I do. I'll take this base coat from Model Ones. You can use any gel base coat, and I'll apply only one layer on my fingers because I have gel polish already on my nails from previous sets that I did, but it has grown out a bit, so that's why I'm applying more, and I'll show you how grown out it is in a sec. So after I apply the base coat, I'll cure it for like 60 seconds, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so as you can see here, from the cuticle area to that little part that I'm pointing at, that's the new growth, and the rest of it is old base coat that I had. So I'm just gonna fill in the new growth area and drag that along the rest of the nail. Also, just to mention, the way I used to do it, which is what the trend is basically right now, is where you would put oil on your finger, then you would put on your base coat, well, top coat, cure it in the lamp, and then put a second layer of top coat, and then you would do your acrylic application, and it should pop off, but that never worked for me. So instead, I did something else, like I added something else to the routine. I don't use oil before I apply my base coat now. I just apply the base coat, wipe off the sticky layer that's on the base coat, and then I'll apply a peel off, what's it called? A peel off base coat. So when I apply that, I let it air dry because it's not a gel for the lamp. So I let it air dry, and then I apply a second coat over it, and that is what helps the nail to pop off. It doesn't hurt. It shouldn't hurt. If it does, don't try to tear it off. But yeah, and when you're filing with this method, you have to be careful, because if you file too hard, your nail will pop right off, like the false nail will pop off, and you would have to glue it back on. So just be careful and mindful. Okay, so I showed you the brand of this base coat that I'm using. When I put this on, I push it very close to the cuticle. I believe there's no latex in this, so anyone that is allergic to latex, you don't have to worry, but still do your research on it. I'll leave the link to it in my description below if you want to check it out. Once it's dried, then I'll apply a second layer, and usually I go a little bit over on the skin so that when I take it off, it's easier to come off because there's that peel off on the skin, so you can peel it off. I'm gonna be using nail forms, so I applied a little bit underneath the fingernail just in case acrylic gets under there. Usually I'd use nail tips, and those work perfectly, but the nail forms can be a little tricky because, as I mentioned, if it goes under the nail, it's a little bit more difficult to remove. Okay, so first of all, 10 out of 10 for these forms. I love the way how they are cut, and it fits right underneath the nail. As you can see, that's how you want your nail forms to fit. And you could leave it like this if you want a more squared look, but I'm going for a stiletto, so I'm going to tuck in the sides a little bit more and pinch the end of the form to get that very pointed nail look. So going in with the cloudy acrylic, I'm going to attempt to do a French tip nail with acrylic. So I place that right on the free edge, and I'm just shaping it out so that I don't have much filing to do, because I don't really like filing on the nail form. But these nail forms that I used, it was okay, it was a breeze. So I'm gonna place my cuticle bead right slightly above that first bead, and I'm not gonna do too much pushing back up into the cuticle. It's gonna go up by itself and create that perfect cuticle application. So now I'm only concerned about the sides that I didn't catch, so I'm gonna fill that in, and that's the first step to this nail application. So I'll do the rest off camera, and then I'll show you what I do next, because every nail is going to have a different color acrylic for the tips, and I'm using all of the form, so I'm going all the way down to the end of the form. Okay, so getting started, I'm gonna place my first bead right under that free edge that I created, and I'll pull the acrylic back towards the cuticle. And then I'll work from there going down. So I'm placing more beads along the form to create that shape, and then I'll place more acrylic on top of it to build it and create the strength. But I'm not focusing too much on building an apex. I built the apex on the thumb, but that's the only nail that's gonna have an apex, because I'm gonna take these right off. If I was gonna leave them on and wear them out, I would create that arch that gives the nail strength. So if I were to bump my nail, it wouldn't break so easily. So bear that in mind when you see them. Like, the top is gonna look a bit flat, it won't have that arch, but that's why, because I'm gonna take them right off. Okay, so after all that shaping and filing, I'm going in with my D&D cleaner, scrubbing that off with my nail brush so that I get rid of all the dust before I use my top coat. And I'm gonna give you an up close on these acrylic. I do love them. They're very easy to use. They're very beginner friendly. I would recommend them, definitely. But the spots that you're seeing on the pinky and the ring finger, I thought those were like the monomer turning yellow, but apparently I didn't put enough there. So it's actually just a sparse area that didn't have enough acrylic. So you're basically seeing through the nail. Because when I took them off, yeah, I was seeing through the nail. Like that spot didn't get enough. But here are the reveal shots. I added some flowers on them with the same color as the tip of the nails. And yeah, I did those with acrylics. And stay tuned for the end of the video where you'll see where I removed them, and you'll see just how easy, well, it wasn't easy to remove these acrylic, but you can see the lifting that was there, and I'll tell you why it wasn't so easy to remove. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. As you can see, the lifting there, see how it's lifting off? That's perfect. The problem is underneath the nail. When I placed the base coat under the nail, I didn't put it far enough because I didn't think the acrylic would run so far back into the nail, but it did. So that's kind of gripping onto the nail. I cut this nail and you can see under it, the acrylic is further down than it's supposed to be. So I'm using the nail drill to file it off to expose the natural nail so that I can take it off easily, and you'll see how easy I took it off. I just got a toothpick, placed it under the lifting, and it just popped right off. And I'll also give you a close-up on my natural nail to show you there's no chipping, or not chipping, but there's no damage to the natural nail. You know, sometimes when you remove acrylic, your nail bed kind of looks torn or ripped. I might insert pictures to show you what I'm talking about, but as you can see, it looks perfectly fine. Whatever white stripping you're seeing on the nail is the residue of the peel off base coat. So I'll scrape the nail just to show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see over there, that's some white residue. That is the peel off base coat. So yeah, there was no damage done to the nail. As you can see, even more up close, everything's perfectly fine. And one more thing, if you're gonna glue them back on, wipe off most of the glue before you glue the nail back on, because that can damage your nail if you try to pop it off. And I'm gonna show you, do you see that ridge right there under the nail? Right there, yep. That's where the free edge of my natural nail was. It was embedded right in that area. As you can see, the toothpick is not passing there. Yeah, that's where my nail was, so I had to take it out of that socket. So that was what was causing the problem. But if I had used tips, it would have just popped right off. So as you can see with these, it's the same problem, so I got to file them and then I can take them off properly. But that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.